Yo yo. Yo 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 yo. Man, I think this is probably the earliest I've been on. Realistically, right? Waking up early. Fucking tired, man. I get no hours of sleep, but then I somehow stay up all day. I'm pretty sure I stay awake for like 10, 12, 6, 18, like over 20 hours a day, I suppose. If I get 5 hours of sleep. Well, that's 19, but almost. Too much. Yeah, same. It's weird because like my girlfriend sleeps for probably 10 plus hours a day, and I'm like half of that, if not less. And I have way more energy when I wake up. So yeah, makes sense. Yo 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 yo. You ready for thousands of Pantheon's mid lane next patch? I haven't played that game in a week, bro. I'm too busy. And I haven't done Warhammer in months, so I'm kind of like fiending right now to get this done. The gyrocopter will be done today. Finitoed. Full 8 hours to be functional. Yeah, thankfully that's not me. That's all I can say. Sleeping is kind of boring because you don't get to do anything. It only feels good right before you go to bed because you're so tired, but like everything else is just a waste of time. So boring. You just sit there like that you don't do anything. It's boring. Sleeping's boring, dude. You're not productive when you're sleeping either, but like you have to, you know what I mean? Samuel, thank you, buddy. Let me move this mic over here. Yeah, sleeping is not the goat of all things. Fuck no. Dreams, you're funny. I dream of finishing my Warhammer. I dream of finishing this gyrocopter. This wretched gyro that's been sitting on my desk for months, and I haven't even been here for months. I mean, the best advice I'd give you is do your research. Try YouTube. YouTube's got a lot of good guides and whatnot and kind of like introductions to the setting. Because the number one thing about this hobby is it's very expensive, very time consuming, and obviously it's kind of like art driven, you know? Painting, modeling, scraping and gluing things. So I would suggest YouTube. YouTube pretty much has everything. Like, in the way of getting into the universe, getting into the game, getting into, like, the hobbying aspect. Because liking something is one thing, but then actually doing the hobby is another. You know, a lot of people don't even do the hobby, they just like the universe. Yeah, there's games as well that'll help you. There's just so much shit out there to kind of like guide you into the right direction, you know? Guide you into financial ruin. Well, video games right now are a pretty good medium for like today's times. You know, back in my day, we used to read a book with glasses on and sitting out in the sun. Make it 10 times hard to see. But like, yeah, video games are a good like live action glimpse into the universe, which is awesome. It's a real-time glimpse. Yo yo. The newer generation always on their phones. I mean, times change and, you know, yeah. Mark of Chaos. I remember playing that. That was like the Total War that wasn't. Yeah. Yep. You know one of the most broken units in that game? Were the Night Goblin Spear Chuckas. For some reason, they weren't bows. They threw spears, and they were all poisoned, and they just, like, destroyed your HP bar. You could kill pretty much anything you wanted with them. It's like, oh, you have a Bloodthirster? Night Goblins. Just a bunch of fucking shitty goblins throwing spears into a Bloodthirster, and he loses. Yeah, Dawn of War's good. Hendrik, yeah, buddy. Dawn of War's a good old one. I don't think I'd tell anyone to play Dawn of War right now, personally, because, like, you've got Dark Tide, you've got Total War, you've got Space Marine, you know, you have more games that are, like, up to date, I suppose. It's not that Dawn of War sucks, but, like, if you want to play something current, you're probably better off with those games. It's like, you also got to realize the charm of Dawn of War and how that game worked was that it was based on the tabletop of that time, so everything looks of that time. Not that that's bad, but, you know, for someone getting into Warhammer, it's like, well, this doesn't look as high def. This doesn't look like the shit I'm buying today. Yo, 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 yo. TFP Boomer. I don't even think I have, what's the word? I don't think I even have, like, fucking emotes set up to where I can see them right now on this PC. I'm such a boomer. I can't see the funny memes or emotes. Like, even my own emotes don't even show up. Oh, that one did. Oh, because that wasn't even a fucking emote. Okay. Never mind, dude. I guess I am old. I don't have Twitch etiquette. What are TikToks? I watch Vines. We're basically almost done. I kind of did this off stream a little bit. And on stream, but we did the blades. Did this. I'm just trying to, like, clean things up a little bit, so that's basically done. After that, we'll have to do, like, the pilot's housing. Right here, you have to kind of, like, glue the guy down to the seat, and then put this in front. And then he's at the controls, and then at that point, you glue the frame of the thing around it, and you're basically done. And then the engine with like a bunch of little bits, but overall it's pretty much complete. It's just a matter of minor touch-ups and gluing, and then we're done. Well, it's going live less because I'm not able to stream more. That's the problem. And I haven't streamed Warhammer in like 20 years, dude. So I kind of miss doing this. Yo, yo. I will be on the main channel later tonight. For the last few days, I've been busting my balls being super busy. And I'm actually on here until my mail comes in because I've got something that I want to put in a case. And then once that happens, and once I can do this, then I'll be on the second channel. Or the main channel, I should say. It's mail day. I spent $5. Nope, he ran away and we couldn't find him. So, live and let live, I guess, right? I took the traps out yesterday after putting in the air conditioner. And he's living his best life right now. Off in some garbage bin, probably. These are fantasy models. Tail end of fantasy, gyrocopter. Your background looks nice. Thank you. Oh, this room is crammed full of like Warhammer, piracy. I kind of have to redo like the mainstream background just because that Gangplank bust is finally done after 20 years of like production hell. So I gotta put that somewhere. That thing is fucking huge. But yeah, we're doing old world stuff. For the longest time, since fantasy was dead, I was kind of into AOS, and right as the old world was coming back, they gutted my fantasy, or not fantasy, they gutted my fucking Age of Sigmar army. Not in a gameplay sense, but like in a miniatures sense, and so I'm not as inclined to play that game anymore. I still might fuck with it, but like it's just not going to be the same experience that it was in like the previous book. Votan stuff? No. I have done zero Votan stuff. I'd like to at least start on like a Hearthkin unit or Hernkin unit or something, whatever the fuck they're called. The generic unit. Like, that'd be useful. That'd be fun, but... That's pretty cool. That's, I forgot her name, but I know who you're talking about. That's cool. Real books after 10 years. Yeah, the Necrons are pretty popular too, so you wonder why it took so long. Maybe their popularity came at such a a later date, so they decided to do books finally. No, I can see as is. It's close enough to me to where I'm not really missing anything. Might look a little weird on stream, but like I can kind of see everything clearly. It's just a little tedious. I've got that. I just don't use it because I'd look like a bigger freak than I already do. Now, stuff like that though, I mean, this isn't even like something I'd take to a competition or anything. I'm just kind of like tedious in how I clean things up. So, I'm not super anal about absolutely everything because I can understand nothing is perfect. The thing is as well is when you scrutinize a piece like this from like a decent distance, you won't see most of this stuff. I just want my shit to look decent. Mold lines are actually better on base models than Finecast and Forge World. Better as in like they're thicker. I have built a few metal minis, not in recent times, but yeah. I'm supposed to be building a bunch soon. I want to build there's two things actually in metal that are like commemorative minis that I want to put on a shelf. Not so much do anything with outside of that. So there's this one, the Troll versus Troll Slayer. That was a Games Workshop employee gift for Christmas. And it's a diorama of a Slayer taking on a Stone Troll. The size is a bit odd because the Troll's pretty tiny if this is a dwarf at like 4'11". So, shit like that. It's a bit of a, slog, I suppose, but it's cool. Full painted minis. Yeah, I could show you a few. I don't get to stay on this channel often. I haven't been here doing any Warhammer for probably a couple of years consistently. So for the time that I've had on this channel, or at least hobbying in the last 3 years, There's like a Dwarf Warrior, just for fun. And then I did like a Lord of the Rings mini for fun. That's really what I've done in the last few years. I'm not gonna lie. I don't have time for anything. Unfortunately. Pewter model. I mean, they're pretty annoying. Like, they're not as soft, right? Because typically with plastic, you just scrape it with a blade, you're done, and sandpaper. But you have to kind of be a little bit more aggressive with the metal, especially if you want it flat, like very flush. Those look nice. Thank you. I'm not incredibly good at painting, but, you know, I take my time. Sariu, hello. We're good. We are chilling. We're chilling for a few hours. We need to finish this little helicopter. Yeah, the thing with metal minis is that if you play current 40k or like Age of Sigmar, you'll never have to deal with a metal mini. If you're from the coal mines, like, you know, and you've been around here a while, you've probably dealt with many, but I should also say probably as well if you play Old World, because Old World has a lot of metal minis. There's that. No, these weren't designed by me. No, it's like a model kit, you know, like Gundams and shit. Yeah. I've made my own stuff, though. It's just it hasn't really, stuck with me. They are too expensive. Metal minis? Or Warhammer in general, because that's kind of like a both ways, no? Warhammer is very expensive, and metal minis are typically expensive just because they're no longer produced with the sculpts. Well, I shaved a while ago. It'll grow back. It's just the light washes everything out. That's why I don't like going in the sun. It's horrible. Bog yo, buddy. Crack is a less expensive hobby. Your drugs are less expensive than this, but a lot less fun. That is true. Why do drugs when you can just buy Warhammer for like a little bit cheaper and you can take it with you? You could be buried with your horde of miniatures. Wise words. Yeah, the sun is awful. Nobody likes the sun. 'Cause 'sun. 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 ' Although for the past few days, I've kind of seen the sun a little bit just because I've been out in the garage trying to do stuff. It is nice. It is pleasant. The Warhammer Sobriety Challenge. Yeah, it's, I feel like you can never really quit Warhammer, you know? The bug kind of comes back and, like, gets you. Might take a while, but if you've ever worked on Warhammer and have liked it, you'll probably be back in a better time. Yeah, I've got Votan stuff. I just don't. It's not really my thing. I like them because space dwarves and squats and whatnot, but I don't really have a massive attachment to them like I do fantasy stuff. Weather is good. Right now, it's pretty nice, actually. Like last night, I put my air conditioner in, and we've been chilling up here in like a fucking freezer. But the second you walk out the door, it's quite nice. It is not too bad. Yo, 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 yo. Yeah, it's pretty good. The problem with weather is like whenever it's the winter, you're like, fuck me, it's too cold. I want it to be, the summer, right? Give me some heat. And then the summer rolls around, and then you're burning alive, and you're like, please put me back into the winter. Like the middle ground is kind of hard to get to. What's Votan? It's like 40k dwarves, stunted humans that are like cloned, and they look like dwarves. Do I have a generic box of like infantry here? Oh, here we go. Dude, some of these guys' head sculpts are like vile. Not vile in a way that's like appealing, but like I can fuck with that. That's disgusting. Like she needs to be fatter. I don't see a beard. you know, I mean, they're not like traditional dwarves, like even this guy, right? What is that? Oh, they're not traditional dwarves, so they don't value like facial hair or like larger women because that's kind of how dwarven society is in fantasy. But it's a little jarring when you've gone from fantasy dwarves for like ages and then see something like that, and you're like, well, they look like dwarves. They're supposed to be dwarves, and then you look at their face and it's like, oh, looks like my face. Blazing hot summer over the winter. Yeah, I mean, if you've got air conditioning and shit like that, that's fine. Otherwise, you're going to suffer. It's all about being comfortable with what's going on. I have gone through many a summer without even a fan, and it's completely unlivable. It is not a good time. Yeah, well, of course, you need air conditioning. I'm saying, I'm just like, if you had to be cold or hot, I think I'd be cold. But, like, not counting air conditioning. Even DRG dwarves have proper beards. Not all of them. Some of them look horrific. I mean, dwarves and their beards aren't, like, the end-all be-all for fantasy, you know? I'm sure they've been written here and there to have beards not really be as much of an importance. But, no. Being into fantasy for so long, I can't see it any other way. Pastor, thank you, buddy. 2 days ago, we had an insane hailstorm. 2 to 3 hours. Yeah, if you're in a hailstorm and they come down like the size of golf balls, I don't think you want to be outside. Bro, the world is crazy, man. Shit like that happening. It's cursed. Okay, I know you probably don't see any of this once the entire gyro's put together, but, like, the fact that I know some mold lines are here is just triggering me. I have to eradicate the mold lines. Philippe, yo, buddy. Unbearable in multiple ways. You know, I'm the type of guy to go around in the summer with, like, a hoodie, and then in the winter go around in, like, shorts. It doesn't, the weather doesn't fuck with me as often as it should, but, like, sometimes it is a little bit unbearable. Only sometimes. Oh, also, Quinplank, you still here? I gotta show you something. I ended up going to a like a hobby store. And I ended up framing after 30 years. Buy the prince, you idiot. I know you love dwarves. Go buy Darko's prince. I don't make any money. I ended up I finally framed. Can you even see it? Let me see it. It's glass, so it's kind of hard to see, but, like, yeah. I framed them. They look good. Maybe a photo does it better. And then I think there was yeah, the glare is so shitty, but yeah, I framed them finally. Because these things have been sitting on the ground for, like, a little while. I wonder how to go after, like, what's the word? Like an anti-glare thing. I heard with glass you have to give it, like, an acid treatment or something, which God knows I'm doing. But there was that, and then I also I have the bit coming in today, but I ended up finding a frame for this as well. Which, you know what, I'll just do this. This thing. So I'm kind of waiting for the bit to come in, and then it's going to go there. And then there's the tank. So that's cool. Actually, you know what? Would this work? That's a little bit better, yeah. It's got like a gold trim and everything. It looks pretty slick, I'm not going to lie. That's cool. I'm going to die surrounded by a bunch of short, hairy men. Yeah, he was very kind. So kind to do that. I gotta send him a photo of it when it's done today. Because I have to go, I have to go somehow put the bit in the display case, because it's like a shadow box. There's no adhesive or anything. So I think maybe like double-sided tape, probably. So that's sketch on Reddit. Oh, the sketch on Reddit? The dwarf tank thing? Yeah, that was really cool of him. That was, like, well beyond generous to send that over. The backing of it is a little bit sacrilegious for what's on the front, but it is amazing nonetheless. And I am very grateful. Yeah, we're almost done. I'm basically doing the finishing touches on, like, cleanup, and then I'm just going to glue everything together. Basically done. Pretty much done. Everything's been scraped. I have to do a bit of gluing on, like, this, and this, and then, again, minor cleanup just because I'm mentally ill and have to check over things 50 times. But yeah, almost done. I'm tempted to make the Anvil of Doom. Just because I feel like when I play Old World, I want to bring the Anvil every game because it's the fucking Anvil. It's cool. So I gotta go see. I gotta see if I've got one. Which I'm pretty sure I actually do. But making sure everything is good to go on that thing might take a little bit because it's resin and it's fine cast, no less. And I really wonder if they are bringing the anvil back in fine cast or... Well, I guess they're done with fine cast, I feel like. Or maybe I'm wrong. I'd love to see it in resin, like actual good resin. Mention it. Yeah, go check it out, because if it's not going to be in fine cast, it might just be metal, honestly. And the metal stuff is great, but you can't clean it as well. Yeah, it is metal. I think I'll just stick to the fine cast one if I do have it somewhere. No, I'm not painting anything right now. I'm just trying to clean up. I'm going to try and gear myself up for like an actual 2,000 point army. So me building a gyrocopter, I know I want those. Anvil of Doom, I know I want the anvil. I'm going to have to do troll hammer, torpedo spam through like maybe 4 units of drakes, 2 units of drakes, I'm not sure. And then just a bunch of other shit. So Rangers are cool. I got to convert up a bunch of Rangers and then green stuff like hoods. Favorite faction that's not dwarves? Orcs. I thought I would spend a lot of time getting my minis clean, but then I saw Tobias. Yeah, I take a long time. You know why, though? It's just because, again, if I've spent so much money on something, I want it to be as good as I can make it. You know, I don't spend $70 for something I'm going to build in like 2 hours and then finish in another. I just feel like it's not, for me, getting my money's worth. Like, some of this stuff you don't even see. You don't see any of this shit. Like, everything under here you're not even going to notice, but if I know there's a mold line there when I'm painting it, I'm like, dude, right below the surface is Satan. Dave Boy, yo, buddy. So, I try to get everything. Sometimes it's not feasible, but you do the best you can. Zerafix, yo, man. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the point, right? Like, if you can't see it, why clean it? For me, it's more so psychological. Again, my brain doesn't work well. Okay, I'm pretty sure I'm almost done this, and then I'm going to glue these arms on, and the pilot... Oh, shit. Pilot will be done. And, you know, when it comes to even painting, I've kind of accepted that everything does not need to be painted, and I'm happier with that than, like, mold lines. Just because if it's black and it's in the shadows, you're not really going to see it. Because, like, when it comes to the gyrocopter, I don't think it's possible to subassembly this and have it work well. I think I've seen some people try and paint the pilot separate, but, like, I don't know how you do that. How do you build a gyrocopter with the pilot separate? I've looked at this shit for hours, and I cannot figure it out. Because the issue is the pilot goes here, the controls go in front, and then he's enclosed around with this, right? Like, there's... And even this, if you build all of this, and you're like, okay, that's fine, I'm just going to glue the pilot in separate, he doesn't fit. So you actually can't even... Like, once his arms are on, he won't slot into here at all. So I don't know how to do it. Trimming? Nah, there's genuinely nothing you can do. I think the best way to paint this thing is to just glue all of it together. Like, you can leave the engine off if you had wanted to. It's just a completely separate bit. So the engine would be all glued together. This would be glued with the pilot, and then the blades itself could also be painted separate, and then you can glue them in. So they kind of just slot like this. I didn't glue the chassis until I painted the pilot and the seat. Oh, wait, so what you're saying is, wait. You painted the seat and the pilot, and then you glued everything around it? And then you painted that? You know, that's not a bad idea. You know, to be fair, you can't really get in on that. I think the biggest thing is that I don't want a giant fucking mold line running through the middle of the copter. I'm not gonna lie. I've got many a problem with my brain, and, or not mold line, sorry, like a seam. Like, to me, this doesn't look good if you've got this in the front. So, yeah, you could glue the pilot to the seat with the arms on without the control panel. You could do that, absolutely. Like this. Yeah. There was a YouTube video that I was watching recently. It was a guy who did, he painted up 2 gyrocopters, and he glued the entire thing together and painted it that way, and I'm like, damn, okay. That's a bit of a bold move. But, man, I wonder. Because as much as, like, I'd love to paint everything, some of this shit you're not even going to see. Right? Like, are you really going to go down here and paint all of this with, like, perfection, and then when it's enclosed, you're never going to even, like, see any of it? Right? Like, who on God's green earth are painting these rivets? Right? Don't tell me you're going to sit here and, like, highlight all of them. That's absurd. But, you know, it is there. I wonder why they even decided to do this detailing, right? Like, it's so cool because you can kind of see how, like, the internals work, but it doesn't, you can't see it. But I think what I will do is glue the pilot's arms on for sure. Is that even worth it, though? Look, you can't even see. Man, my brain was so set. I had everything planned out. Oh, well. You know, I think what I'm going to do for this mini is I'm not going to paint it separately. I'm going to glue everything together, paint it. If I'm not happy with it, it's going to sit as like a single mini, and it's not going to go in the army. And then from that, I'll just gain some knowledge. Because, again, I do want to go around with, like, putty and try and putty up all the seam lines and everything. So, you know, when this stuff kind of joins together, you've got seams. Up here, you've got seams. I do want to try and make it flush as possible. So, no, I'm gluing it. No sub-assembly. Only the engine, maybe. Also, do you have any photos of your gyrocopter? Just so I can see what you did. I'm kind of curious if you had painted all of the internal stuff in the cockpit. I'd be scared to get any glue on the paint. Yeah, I mean, well, you'd be very, like, precise with it. Essentially, you'd be dabbing it on with, like, a toothpick or something, so it wouldn't be as bad. It's, you know, there's so many different ways to go about finishing minis and whatnot. It's just kind of like what you prefer, you know? Whatever's most comfortable. Okay. We're good. Thank you. We're chilling. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 ba-dum, bum, bum. Yeah, I've played Age of Sigmar. I played Cities of Sigmar, with like Caradron allies. 40k, I used to play Orcs and Guard. Now just the Votan, which they're all sitting in boxes unmade. Currently, the only thing I'm really fucking with is Old World, just because I used to love fantasy so much, and now that it's back in like full force, that's kind of where all of my efforts are going. If you've ever painted Votan Pioneers fully assembled, everything else is a breeze. Do people actually sub-assembly them with like maybe the driver on separately? Kowski, yo, buddy. I would imagine they do. Oh, gotcha. Chip the paint. Yeah, see, subassembling, like, it's a little bit of a it's a bit of a brain rot experience just because, like, again, it's more for you, right? It's like you don't need to do it to get everything. Sometimes not seeing everything completely painted is fine. Woo! What did he get? Yeah, I'm not really playing that game anymore. I'm not gonna lie, but I'd like to at least like they gave him a new loading screen thing as they did everyone, which I saw, which was kind of cool. Not a buff, obviously, but like just a fun tidbit. Vader, yo, buddy. Okay, I'm gluing the arms. The only person who could stop me right now is Satan taking my life away. Headbutt goes into Hell Stab. That's pretty good. That's really good, actually. That's insane. Yeah. Wow. I mean, Hell Stab and Headbutt are like some of his best. Jesus Christ, that scared me. Vader, thank you, buddy. Thank you, sir. Yeah, Hell Stab and Headbutt are like some of his best tools. Absolutely. That is good. That's a pretty good buff. You're not wrong. The man wasn't lying about the buff. Also, I think I'm going to use thicker glue for this. See, I love Geef. I love Bane, but, like, I can't be tempted to play that game anymore. Yes, sir. Well, we're going to be leaving soon. As we always have to, just because I'm very busy right now. I only have so much time for hobbying, or even streaming in general. Bum, bum, bum. Shit. That doesn't work at all, actually. Okay, do you have to, like, shuck on the glue? Because, like, that's not enough, really. That's Navori Flicker Blades. It is. That's what I was saying, too. I'm like, is that Flicker Blades or Triforce? Like, what the fuck? You're not wrong. Yeah, I haven't really been able to hobby in a very long time, and so for me, this is, like, kind of what I've wanted to do for many a year. Okay, what is up with this? I can't tell if this is supposed to be connected. Probably, actually, yeah, it is. I love you, Tobias. Thank you, brother. God bless the love in this world. God bless it. Oh, these do have to be glued together. And just like that, the Dowie pilot's ready. And he is no Malachi Makaisen. He will not crash this beast. Cool. Man, you could do so many things with these kits, considering it's like fully detailed, even though you never get to see it. Like you could have this pilot pretty much anywhere, and it would look great. Although you have to fill in the back, but that's fine. Whoa. What is bro on about? Of course they will. Always. Certainly cooler than Chaos Dwarves. Because those aren't dwarves. Those are mutant abominations. More kits and a price reduction. Price reduction, like kit reduction. I mean, you say price reduction, every single thing in Games Workshop's going up. No, ain't nothing getting a price reduction. Yeah, I'm going to paint them. I wouldn't be gluing them otherwise. I have to do general cleanup on this guy once he's dried. I can kind of see like glue and other things because I'm going to be puttying him. So his shoulders look a little bit better. Oops. Favorite Dwarf Lord? I'm pretty basic, man. I like Thorgrim. Big old throne of power. No one can kind of like question his rule, you know? I'm a basic bitch that way. Okay, so realistically with this, I should be gluing the pilot to the seat, I think. Although after I'm done cleaning it. So then it would sit like that. Bellegarde's cool. Yeah. I feel like, I mean, we all know what happens to him at the end of that long road. But he is a guy who has got balls of steel, and he's a loudmouth. I gotta respect it. I had actually wanted to do not a Thorgrim diorama. I wanted to do a Bellegarde diorama with with him fighting Queek being surrounded by his red guard, kind of like as a last stand type of thing. I thought that'd be sick. You know, we all know what happens to him, but like when it comes to dwarves, they all go out in some crazy last stand, heroic, like fucking defiance. Thank you for making me buy Total War 1, 2, and 3. It's good. Yeah, those are good games. Yeah. I mean, there's only so many things you can think about. Not everything comes to fruition. It just takes too much time and effort, you know? So. But I did want to do that. Unless you're the High King. Well, I mean, his whole triumphant, like, bit was with Queek, right? Where he picked him up and, like, snapped his neck. That was basically it. And then he's like, "Oh, I gotta go. I'm wounded. Let me leave the door open. Please don't assassinate me." Yeah. Who ends up killing Snicketch? Who kills that guy? Who eventually gets him in the end times? Because I'm sure he does go, as do most of the Skaven outside of, like, what? Thanquol? Thanquol lives. And there's an awesome fucking bit for people who don't like Age of Sigmar, but you like dwarves. I promise you, you need to listen to Realm Slayer, the audio drama with Gotrek in it, who's voiced by Brian Blessed. And there's two of them. There's Realm Slayer, and then there's like Blood of the Old World, I think is the second album or the second book. And it's fucking awesome. It's so good. Ikit lives? Does he really? I thought it was only Thanquol. I guess I'm just wrong. I don't know my Skaven. Okay, we gotta glue something else that can dry. So I'm thinking this. Tomb Kings and Kislev. Yeah, that's a bit of a hot take, but I respect it. People do love Tomb Kings, and they do love Kislev, though, to be fair. Kislev, crazily enough, was in tabletop. So was Tomb Kings, obviously, but we are building a gyrocopter, a dwarven helicopter. Felicity, yo, buddy. I hope they make Vampire Coast for the old world. I think they shot that idea down, no? Maybe I'm wrong, but I swear I heard somewhere that they weren't doing that. Okay. You know, whatever happens to the old world, the only thing I need it to do is exist forever. Don't take it away again. Don't fucking, like, end times it again, please. Whatever you do, it's so good. It's a dwarven fidget spinner. Oops. Damn, the Engineers Guild has peaked. Forget your ancestors. Lord dumb about end times. Essentially, the end of the world came and everyone died, and then they gutted the game. The end times was essentially the apocalypse, where the bad guys won, the good guys lost, and the entire universe was blown up and then remade into a brand new game, with all of its histories, its characters, and everything either being swept away or being continued on in the Age of Sigmar. It's the great reset. We got to make money. I mean, to be fair, though, the Age of Sigmar is not the Age of Sigmar, but Age of Sigmar is extremely successful, and I don't mind it. I just hate that fantasy had to die for it, you know? And now that it's back, I don't care. It is what it is. It happened. At least we have it back. Mm. Okay, you know what? This is good. Sorry, I'm trying to glue this right now, so... Well, classic dwarves still, yeah, they do exist in Age of Sigmar, but, like, they're just kind of, like, within the cities, you know? Still grumbling about the past. The Dispossessed will never get their own book because the Dispossessed are just fantasy dwarves with like a, oh my god, are like even grumpier fantasy dwarves, essentially, right? Implying that they can even remember anything past that point because, you know, currently where they are in lore, I'm pretty sure every dwarf that was ever around to remember stuff is most likely dead. You know? I think it's more so like their children grumbling about how their fathers were grumbling about how their fathers had died. You know? Something like that. I remember when my father said the world was a great place where dwarves could sit in mountains and delve for ages. He died. So now I'm here to tell the tale. I remember. The Book of Grudges never forgets. Unless it's actually blown the fuck up, then yes, it does. You think they're gonna do Ulrichson? I guess. Yeah, you probably do need kind of like a unifying like character to lead all of a race. You know, they probably will bring him out. I mean, the Throne of Power's got to be there because every High King needs to be on it. I'm gonna let this dry a bit. Gyrocopter. I remember when these were good in game. Well, Total War. Helicopter. You know what you could actually do? I don't know if you guys have seen. I don't know if this was in the game because I never played it, but I remember seeing art of the Warhammer MMO Age of Reckoning like dwarf mount, and it was essentially this strapped to a backpack, and he would fly around. You could totally do that. You put something like this on the guy's back, you get the propeller going, and you can kind of have a bunch of dwarves flying around on like little drone-looking things. Have I been pretty good? Just a bit busy. Swamped right now with a lot of stuff. That looks really unreliable. I mean, maybe. Well, the thing is, when it comes to the engineers, like, you can still pitch ideas. It's not like, well, the way it works is that if you want anything to be kind of used in like the grand arsenal of things, it needs to be consistent. It needs to be reliable. It needs to be tested over the centuries. You know, you're dead by the time it's even put into practice. But that still doesn't stop people from presenting things, right? Ideas and new contraptions they've been working on and gun modifications, whatever it may be. So, like, yeah, but at the same time, you know, you can just create whatever the fuck you want for tabletop. And not to mention, no matter what lore says, you've still got like pieces of artwork that have flavored bits of like detail, you know? Yeah, the crank gun and everything, exactly. Well, as an outcast engineer, I mean, well, that's the thing. It's like in the grand scheme of things, you want everything to be safe. You want everyone to be, you know, taken care of and not have to worry about something going berserk and just taking out a bunch of dwarves. Um, but like, I wouldn't be surprised if there were engineers like running out to battle with like personal use weapons. You know, like I don't think you have to present everything you've ever made to the Engineers Guild, right? Like they can go tinker and toil with like their ammunition or whatever in their own little private quarters and you know kind of deal with that stuff on their own. I mean, even in lore, like when it comes to the Thunderers, right? Every rifle is different, whether it be aesthetic or whatever it may be. So, not every dwarf is like this honor-bound automaton who kind of abides by the rules and codes of a hold. Okay, I really got to glue these down. Hammerers. Well, the Iron Drakes, Iron Breakers, and Hammerers are like the only real militaristic force that the dwarves have, right? Like they're actually all kitted out with things that were made for war, like specifically to do a job type of deal. That's probably why they're so uniform, obviously, in that they've got like massive suits of armor. It's just because that's what it was made for, you know, getting shit done. They're cool. They're absolutely not my favorite thing, but they are cool. Souls franchise? Not really. Not much. Oh yeah, I mean, getting inspiration from wherever is like awesome with this hobby. I always look at what other people are doing because then it can kind of like inspire you to do something that you like, you know? I mean, for God's sake, Games Workshop puts like insanely painted miniatures on their boxes, right? That alone will kind of get you to buy their shit and then be like, I'm going to paint it like that. And then you paint it and it's like Play Doh. But that's cool. Nothing wrong with Play Doh. Okay, so what more can I do right now to where it matters? Actually, maybe gluing this in would be very, very helpful. Although, it would not. Well, you know what? If I glue this in halfway, can I get this in here? It does fit. Yeah, I know, I gotta do the pilot. Satisfying to watch. Is Mochi watching? I miss Mochi. He's not here with us. Gyrocopter. Yeah, so essentially, I think what I would do then is maybe... You know what? No. You glue all this together first. This is what you do, and then you just plop it in. Yeah, I'm not going to be brain dead. And I'm gonna paint it all together. Whatever. I'm not going to paint the engine together, just because the parts are kind of... whatever. Or maybe I will. Maybe I'll just glue all the little engine bits on if I'm going to glue the pilot in, because God knows that's even harder to paint. Where'd you get the miniatures from and for how much? I mean, you can find them online, like Games Workshop's website, local hobby stores. $60 Canadian usually for this thing, I think. Okay. I gotta scrape these two. This is gonna dry. Then I'm gonna glue them all together. When it comes to buying Warhammer, you don't have to really go to the source. Like, you don't have to buy it from Games Workshop. Just because you can actually get it from, like, hobby stores for much cheaper. And the crazy thing is that Games Workshop allows it. Because they're the ones who made the partnership to begin with. And they set the prices, and it's like, alrighty, that's great. Thank you. Mochi is always watching. I miss him. He's my little buddy. I never wanted a dog until I got a dog, and now I don't ever not want a dog. Owning a dog is is a child, man. Not that you'd want to own a child, because that's fucked up, but, like, it's this little being that loves you unconditionally. I love my little buddy. We're thinking of getting a corgi. Don't think, get it, and you'll never look back, I promise you. Owning a dog fulfills a human. It does. Ever since I got my dog, I love life even more. And I love life knowing that, like, I can make my dog's life also happy. You know? Like, okay, he's great to just see me, but, like, you take him out, you go on walks, you take him on an adventure. People who say I don't like dogs have never had a dog. That's all I can say. It is little buddy. Yeah, that's fair. I understand that. I mean, I stream typically all day. Um, and Mochi comes and like hangs out with me. After stream, I fucking, you know, run around with him and whatnot. But you want to make sure when you get your dog or when you get an animal that you're giving them enough attention, obviously. Otherwise, don't get one. What time is it? 1? Okay, I have to go in about 6 minutes. 6 minutes, I have to leave. I gotta go get some stuff done. Unfortunately, that's life. It's not a good thing always, but you do what you can with the time you've got. Aquarium only household right now. Oh yeah, so that's way different. When you get a dog, man, you got to give them so much attention. You got to take them out. You got to have them like poo poo and go for runs and whatnot. And they really just want to hang out with you. Dogs are not. At least my dog. Of course, different breeds are, I guess, different. Um, but like I've got a Pomeranian, 8 months old, and this thing is like very much interested in being with you. They're a part of your life, but you are their whole life. Yeah, literally. They wake up just to see you. And it's unconditional too. It's like this little creature just loves you and they don't know anything about you. You could be the worst human being in the world and a dog will love you. Kind of bad for dogs. Well, I don't mean like the worst human being isn't like abusive or anything to them, but like not to dogs. You know what I mean? You could be like a mass fucking murderer and you come home and your dog is just there to greet you, you know? And he just loves you because he doesn't know anything. Like, ideally, that's not the case. Ideally, people who are like that don't have dogs, but, you know. Yo, yo, we're chilling, although we gotta go soon, buddy, unfortunately. I'm gonna be a little bit busy for about 2 weeks. I'm gonna be busy until June, basically, so a little over a week right now. Um, we're trying to make this place mochi friendly so he can have fun and be happy and have space. On top of that, I've got a lot of personal problems that are being taken care of as well, so life right now is a little bit hectic, but it is what it is. Building is my least favorite thing to do. Painting is always the most fun for me. I don't mind building, but I'm more so interested in converting. Building something stock standard doesn't really do it for me. For the sake of dwarves, I don't mind it just because I do like the way a lot of their shit looks. But chances are, if I do continue to make gyrocopters, which I will, I'm going to have to modify at least every other one that isn't the first one. Yeah, converting stuff is good. Converting is fun. It's just a way to make more things look unique and your own, you know? Okay, I have to go. I'm going to be a bit busy today. I actually thought I'd be able to stream all day, and chances of that happening are pretty slim. Maybe I'll be on in the evening, considering it's only 1 p.m. right now. But so far, so good. Honestly, this thing's basically done. Just kind of putting together the cockpit, gluing in the pilot, and then getting this thing together, and we're good. All right. I gotta go, folks. Everybody take care of yourselves. Be well. I will catch you all later. 40 unique Black Orc Corsairs assembled. Yeah, that's cool. Honestly, I'm gonna do the same thing with Dwarf Warriors, so it'll take